That's my copy. Give it to me.
To West Nile, Kony war victims. Warga de number ni Alif Kalidin Taut Kampala. Resil de wa. Let me do talk with it in Chara. Have delivered 2 letters, one to Ombaci Massacre victims and survivors of Arua, which also takes care of Ringli Theological College Massacre and Odamachako Massacre victims and survivors. This letter is in line with the 1981 June 24th massacre that took place in Ombaci mission, where 96 people were massacred and buried in a mass grave. So we have been pursuing a humble compensation from government to the victims and the survivors for such a long time. I am glad to report that after about 4 years of engaging government and engaging authorities, the HE, the president, Gov't Museveni, has directed that these people be paid an ex gratia payment. And the directive has come in a State House blue letter directed to Honorable Chiwanuka, the Attorney General, and it reads that payment of ex gratia to Ombaci Massacre victims and survivors in Arua, Ombaci Massacre victims / survivors through the association Ombaci Massacre Victims Survivors Association, represented by Honorable Feta Joffrey, Member of Parliament, Ive Constituency, Arua, brought to my attention the issue of government making ex gratia payment to Ombaci, Ringli Theological College, and Odamachako Massacre victims and survivors. I am informed that the government has previously made ex gratia payments to other victims with similar claims. I therefore direct that you work with the relevant ministries to verify the claimants with a view of government making an ex gratia payment. Signed by Gov't Museveni, President. And this letter is copied to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Minister in charge of Northern Uganda, Permanent Secretary to Treasury, and the Ombaci Massacre Victims Survivors Association, and lastly to Honorable Feta Joffrey. Similarly, we have been making appeals to government over the victims and of Kony war. There are people who lost property and lost their lives, got injured as a result of the insurgency of Kony. Many of our people, the business community largely, and travelers along Arua, Karuma, Kampala Road. So I, together with the members of West Nile Parliamentary Caucus, have made several appeals to government and in response to these appeals that have been enormous, the President has written a letter, a directive, directing Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, the Prime Minister, in the Prime Minister's office in Kampala, instructing him about a claim for compensation by Kony war victims in West Nile. And I want to read the letter. It has been brought to my attention that Kony war victims in West Nile who lost their businesses, had their vehicles burnt, property destroyed, etc., have never been paid any compensation by government. although it is not logical for government to take responsibility for actions that happen during wars or any insurgents, they can be considered for an ex gratia payment. The said payment will supplement other government efforts geared towards improving household incomes. In view of the above, I therefore direct that you coordinate the relevant government ministries like the Attorney General's Office, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to verify the claimants and make an ex gratia payment. Signed by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President. This letter is copied to the Attorney General. It is copied to the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. The letter is copied to the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs. And the letter is also copied to the Minister in charge of Northern Uganda. It is copied to me, the area member of Parliament who brought the matter to the President's attention. And it is copied to these people you have seen here, the thousands of people here, the West Nile, Kony war victims. I thank you. First of all, my role as a leader was to raise the matter to the powers that be. Now I have raised the matter to the attention of the President, and the President has ably directed. But also in his directive, he has guided that the Prime Minister should work with the relevant ministries to verify. That means those who claim they were victims will be verified. And the verification will not be done by me or any other leader. The verification will be done by Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs. So the processes are going to be process by process, stage by stage. At the end of the tunnel, the real claimants or the rightful beneficiaries will be sieved out of all those who are claiming. That's what I can be able to say. However, for Ombaci massacre, we have just learned that I should say myself, has just learned through a telephone call from a victim's daughter that there was a massacre of 8 people in Iwota, and that list has never been attached to any of these claimants. So we are going to make an addendum submission to the list of Ombaci massacre, because on the list of Ombaci massacre we included the victims of Ringley Theological College. I also had a meeting with the group that came from Odramachako together with Ombaci. So we now want to incorporate all those and handle it as one issue.
How about Moni? They were also massacred.
Yes, the same is actually Iweta. The one you're talking about, Moni, happened in Iweta. Moni and Iweta are village mates. They are from the same vicinity. So this starts the process. It is now the honors of the Attorney General and the Prime Minister to summon a meeting, but also because they have the beneficiaries, intended beneficiaries have received the letters, they have to organize themselves and prepare themselves, make the necessary documents, do an internal verification before the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs comes in to verify.
The President of the Republic of Uganda for finally giving a directive that the Kony war victims on West Nile, those from West Nile, be compensated and given their ex gratia payments. I also want in a special way to thank Honorable Feta for the job well done, because he wrote 3 letters over this same matter. He has been following this matter in State House, in all forums where the President or the Prime Minister is available. He always raises this issue. Other people I want to recognize in a special way, Honorable Bakoro, she raised this issue to the President. Honorable Soro also raised this issue to the President. Also, I want to thank Honorable Atiko also raised this matter several times to the President and all leaders where possible. Plus other people I have not mentioned. I want to thank the journalists. You people have done tremendous work. Many times people always forget about you guys, but without you and without you passing this information in all the medias, without you spreading this, we would not have received this letter. So I thank all of you so much for how far we have reached and for what people are doing. We are grateful that finally our people, after almost 20 years, people are now beginning to smell that this money is likely to come. And this money is needed by people badly. As the president rightly noted, this money will supplement government effort towards improving household income. Because these are people who were businessmen and businesswomen. They were surviving and their families were surviving on business. But at the end, their monies were looted, their goods were looted, their vehicles were attacked, goods were burnt. Some of them were injured, they cannot now do business. Some people died. So what people need is some income, some capital for them to go back and start doing business. So I really pray that the Prime Minister takes this matter very seriously and follows up this compensation, because it's long overdue. The Attorney General, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Defense. The Ministry of Defense actually need to fast track the process of verification, because they came here, did the actual passport verification already. To me, the verification which the President is talking about here was already done by the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs. It is only unfortunate that they did not give their report to the Attorney General on time, because the Attorney General has been waiting for the verification report from Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs. All these processes actually by now should have been done. So I pray that the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense, fast tracks this matter. The Attorney General takes it up seriously. The Minister of Finance makes sure they avail the necessary money for the payment. Otherwise, our people have really suffered. Many people died waiting for this money. Now they are no more. It is their children who are now following this money. And we pray that they should also not make the children die. Again, leave to the grandchildren to follow. Because where a directive is given like this, we pray that they honor this directive of the President. But otherwise, we are very grateful for how far this matter has gone. We appreciate the effort by the President to make sure this money is paid soon as possible.
The number of the victims?
The number of the victims, there are 1,002. 1,102 victims.
Across the region?
Yes, these are from Arua, Kony victims. But we're also expecting some number from Moyo and the Juman area. So we don't know exactly how many they have in the entire West Nile. But for us here, we have 1,102 Kony victims. And all these have signed, and all their papers, their statements are on record.
Now that the President has directed, actually, a number of our political leaders here have been given contrary information, actually delaying the process of compensation. As a legal person, what does this mean for you? This time round, the President has given a directive.
One is, first of all, I want to urge our people to be united. Because in this front, if we fight individually, we cannot succeed. We need to be united. There is no need of generating other fake lists around. The list of these people is already in the Ministry of Defense, it's already in the State House, it's already with the Attorney General. So if you want to generate any other list now, you cannot succeed. Because the names of the people, their list was compiled. All the government, even the Speaker has the list. All the government offices have the list. So please, if you know your name was not on this list, I really urge you to be patient, but you cannot now be considered because the list was already generated. Let us be united in this matter. Generating lists, blackmailing people, this is one thing which has been actually happening. There was another fake list, I'm sorry to say, which they used to call Honorable Later Brigadiers list, about 200 something people. That list doesn't exist. There is, I'm told, some other group of people who are trying to fake also some lists, but they cannot succeed. If you have any issues, you can raise it, but please, the most important thing I want to tell you is that what they are coming to verify is people whose names were already on the list. I know normally when letters come like this, everybody will now start claiming that they were victims. But please, I urge people not to do that, because the number of the people, the names of the people, their contact is already done. They are just coming to verify what was already submitted to State House.
In wars or any insurgencies, they can be considered for an ex gratia payment. They say the payment will supplement other government efforts geared towards improving household incomes. In view of the above, I therefore direct you to coordinate the relevant government ministries like the Attorney General's Office, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to verify the claimants and make an ex gratia payment. Gov't Museveni, President of Uganda. Copied to 1. Attorney General, 2. Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, of Defense and Veteran Affairs, 4. Minister in charge of Northern Uganda, 5. Honorable Feta Geoffrey, 6. Kony war victims. So, asisile demane muzuduare alaga president ni fema dieri jizu kozo. Iri alemia I tichizu tualo as kon Kony war victims yeke azene ke dala chi dikenda government ko tiebo yeke ajumania maybe vi na di nende amerdela abala tiko vu dikeba maybe di nende eyamana I me vile lawyer vu dikemi tseba vure karatasi be ira ba machiri afaloro e me vile compensation e ba ofe am ofe bi di asisile amane West Nile ro awozi vuti rure sa yo testament titu eloko amodu ko kudi aneko the man wara ga de Syria asiandre West Nile Kony war victims adne aruwa Kony war victims aduleko amerdira le base man na yo de kumuruko akatichi anje on abe woro tu la kara yo duko alose gamete nga yo man ler ma panvope te akadwar yondo obungeri kake yondo ajumene ni kake yondo erengata wawa example ajumene da sub county azense arinya pi ni amuru marua sub county azense jaipi na muru maru akwarira Kony vile bari ni muzu bada sizu dikisire anga zia ngona mali ali tau mati paribane Kony ne bo dizo de mali ku elias asile mani yala ndas passionate le rdai pakele sub county ne pabo maru kia Kony ne anda nga pabo erimu bo di pakelia erimvi pabo de ba president ni directive ma committee ne mali ndera konve warren meeting da malia o gura ka kimura baze do ane mani onziko asko ne vile list kilili e mi vile lawyer rete e vile lawyer revenite amerdirako iri asile president ni Attorney General ne direct zo dia ndere de ba gamete e defend pe yo dra maliare finance minister ne send ne refene Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs ni mu ba da ki verify ada good pa ndo choko suba Kony ma yo malia di malia ndi ya e ka anda de group da malia yo defense ni ngami nze ba kala amerikilira evidence mi so no choko yo malia ra le mariche aku ezekete ba aku da module roke ba du onda ekita correct aku da ma representatives ki ngari yo de malia che kan ko e ka dadre claimant kan ko beneficiary ba ndo choko supu de maze nene erele akuda ma resolution akuda ma paria yo adi avelere adi ananga folonere Madachi.
Nerendo, Dinga Mariandro, Ma be there, many war and vero in Jone. And then go Bulu, maybe or Andro. The Diadonia, they send the Nique. So I need.
Okay. I'll let the level do what I got immediately allows better the iodine. The same letter. And Bodu Khalid in Yaziri say, and Bamudri say, Eleli Furukhalid in Tausi. The Obasere, Attorney General of Honorable Chiroa Chiwanuka, Attorney General, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Kampala. Payment of ex gratia to Ombaci massacre victims and survivors in Arua. Ombaci massacre victims and survivors through the association, Ombaci Massacre Victims Survivors Association, and represented by Honorable Geoffrey Feta, Member of Parliament of Aivu Constituency, Arua, brought to my attention the issue of government making ex gratia payment to the Ombaci, Ringli Theological College, and the Dramatako Massacre Victims Survivors. I am informed that the government has previously made ex gratia payments to other victims with such claims, with similar claims. I therefore direct you work with the relevant ministries to verify the claimants with the view of government making ex gratia payment. Signed by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President. Copied to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, copied to the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Minister in charge of Northern Uganda, Permanent Secretary and Secretary to Treasury, Ombaci Massacre Victims, and Honorable Feta Geoffrey. So I had a meeting about that, and Mungu Makwati. Azia manelere angone zozure. Adene politics adi bizure ko. Ba ma velere ke odu la lo se musoro be. Gamete ka send de ayo azi angwazere ke ofezura ba ma diki mo fe kwadios. Congratulations.